This is typically how it goes. We have a start time, and then we start about an hour later.
Yeah.
No,
we're usually only about a half hour.
Yeah, only about a half hour.
All right, I'm trying to tweet here too. See, the problem that for me is because I'm logged in under a different account to do this, so I can't
two
get
different
to my
browsers.
emails.
Two different browsers.
So you open up Google, Chrome, and Firefox.
Yeah. Internet Explorer, Firefox, Chrome. That's how I do it. And I have 4 browsers for 4 different accounts.
That's I don't do this often enough to realize that would be the better way to do it.
I learned that a long time ago. I can't believe you.
It looks like Kevin's doing it on his phone. That's what he's doing.
He is. Otherwise, I got to remember the Tuning Into Sci-Fi Twitter login, which isn't in the other browser. Well-oiled machine here. Well-oiled machine.
There you go. That's it. By episode 500, we'll be.
Mm-hmm. All right, opening up the Tuning Into Sci-Fi Twitter here. Dun, 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 dun. Can't type worth crap.
I have confirmed that we do have video going out on the tuningintoSciFiTV.com/live link. If people were to click on that player, they would see what we're seeing, what we're talking about now.
Oh, all right. Is Kevin tweeting that we're live finally?
Yes, he is.
All right. So good.
So many things I can do at once here.
I know. I'm just, I can only look at I can only look at one window at a time. So I'm making sure.
Okay, I need to make sure that I have a tuner minute to play. I think I want to play it raw.
Yeah, I'll re-record it.
Okay, I'll just boost this echoey one a little bit, and then we'll...
In the normal place I record. I tried to sit in a place that had more light. That's why I sat here.
Ah, okay. Boost, boost, boost. Boost. A little more boost. Level that off.
Oh, I better open these up.
Ooh. A lot of air conditioner noise as well.
I think that's my fan.
Yeah, just checking on things.
Okay, I'm just going to say this out raw and play it. All right. Raw replay.
Okay, I have tweeted that we are live. I have mentioned to tweet at us, and I have included the live page link.
Awesome.
Oh, can you put it on Facebook too?
Oh, sure. Why not?
Or is that asking too much?
She
Is that a
wants it
bridge
all.
too far?
It's good to be the host, you know? Yeah, hold on just a second. I'm just going to...
Just wait. I'll do all the screw-ups once we actually start the show.
Hey, you're the social media people, so if you were the lead host, Wendy would be doing this. So.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. I'm just going to retweet on my personal account, and then I'll do the Facebook side of things. Actually, I didn't look, but I wonder if this integrates with Facebook Live.
Oh, it might. I don't.
Well, I'll put the link up in on Facebook. That's fine too. Hold on, just un momento. Let me find the link. I think that's the link. Hold on, confirming that's accurate.
I want to play a test bit of audio from the control panel. Tell me, guys, if it's too loud or too quiet, please.
Sure.
Sincere congratulations on the amazing milestone of your 400th show. I've been listening since the very early double-digit episodes back in...
Okay, I can't hear it.
Oh, it was just a skosh loud.
A skosh loud, all right.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't have to adjust my volume, but I was tempted.
Sincere congratulations on the amazing milestone of your 400th show.
Live.
I've been listening since the very early double-digit episodes back in, I don't know, 2009, I think. And you guys have been an important part of my week, every single week since then.
He's concentrating.
Yeah, he's probably muted us. He probably doesn't hear anything.
What? I'm sorry, what? I'm
Facebooking.
Was
Scott too loud?
It's a bit loud.
I think it's still a little loud.
Yeah, it's a little loud.
Turning it down again. All right. Well, I'm just going to trust that was enough. We'll do it live.
It probably was.
We are live.
Okay.
Well, it'll be like when ads come on, you know how they're louder than the show.
Oh, yeah. There you go. You should have had the promo and all of that stuff prepared. I didn't do it. I should have prepared every little bit of audio that I do in post and done it live, but I didn't.
But why do it any different than we normally do?
No, we're just doing it the same old way. We're all dogs. We don't have any new tricks.
Where else? Oops, wrong account. I can't do that here. Too many Facebook and Twitter.
Do we want to announce to people now, since they're theoretically here, that they can tweet us? And
Yes,
Sure.
I will. I'm getting, Justina's here. Hello, Justina.
Hi, Justina. Can they chat? Can they type in the chat?
there is no
No.
chat.
There is
for
no
Google
chat on
Hangouts.
Google. Yeah.
That's why we need Twitter.
Oh, but they can't go to our Google channel? Like, I can chat.
No, the chat.
You and I
mean,
can.
Oh,
And
it's just
That's
us?
host.
You and
Yeah,
Kevin,
that's
yeah.
host.
Oh, but I thought but people could watch it.
They can, but the comments there are very delayed
Oh, all right.
on the
Okay.
YouTube side. It's nowhere near real time.
Okay.
Ah. So if you are commenting on the YouTube channel, we're not watching.
You're going to have to guess what we're going to talk about.
I'm going to eat a peanut.
All right.
Whoa! Don't want
Drink
to do
some
that.
drink.
I got to stop touching buttons here on the YouTube side of things. Okay. La 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 la.
I still have my mute button in place.
We have
so.
doubled our live viewership.
2.
2.
Who else is there?
We don't know.
They haven't identified themselves?
Unless they want to tweet to us, maybe.
Oh.
Or if it's Scott, then he doesn't do social media, so we'll never
Okay.
know until after the fact.
I knew I liked Scott. Something is adjusting my input. That must be Google Hangouts trying to adjust my mic input.
Okay, now that I think I have all the social media stuff done,
Okay.
let me actually look at the document to get ready. No, why do you have them tweeting at me, Wendy?
I didn't have them tweet at you. I just put you in the tweet.
Well, your tweet says, tweet us if you are online, and then you have my...
And then I have you mentioned.
I can only handle so much.
It's to copy you so they could just respond to the tweet and you'll
This
be
is why I'm
included.
not on Twitter.
I was going to put Brent in there, but I mean, you do have a Twitter account.
I have an account, but I don't go there. I never look at the thing.
Okay.
Well, I don't want
Fine,
them to
fine,
tweet
fine.
at me because I won't be able to keep track. So I want
That's fine.
I want them to come to more than one place.
I
but-
got it. If they tweet it tuning into Sci-Fi, I will see it.
Yes,
have
I
those
know.
notifications turned on.
Yeah.
And if they tweet at me, that means I'll get twice the notifications.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Are we close?
Close to what?
Ready.
Starting? Are you kidding me? I haven't even looked at the document yet.
I didn't even
Okay.
check the
There's not
screen
that
shit.
much in here, really. And I tried to make
No.
it whoever sent it.
All right, it's
be the
Kim.
one.
Kim is our viewer number 2.
Whoever's expecting a last call, I
Kim.
don't think we're going to have enough for it. You might want to move that up to the top.
Oh, all right.
Because, I mean, we have like 6 links and 3 shows.
Yeah, I know. Okay. Did you guys watch Timeless both episodes?
No, I just watched the
must
first.
have missed it.
No,
Yeah.
you posted it for us, Brent. This is
Oh,
the show that
Timeless.
you
Oh.
captured for us.
That's right. We got the screeners. Yes. Okay. Yeah. I saw both episodes. Yeah. Sorry. I thought you were talking about like frequency or something. I'm like, I don't think that's on yet.
Because it looks like, did Kevin, you only watched the first one?
Yes, just the first one.
Oh, all right.
All right. We can talk about one. It's spoiler free anyway.
Yeah, it's just impressions.
So, I mean, you and I can spoiler free talk about 2. It won't spoil Kevin.
Yes.
That's a good point if you find a way to make that work.
We can't talk about the plot.
That would be a spoiler.
So for those of you tuning in, this is your free bonus material now.
You don't have to wait for the DVDs to come out.
Really? You gave me the
Or-
first look at Outlander season 3? Really?
Because I can't open the link, I think. That's why she gave it to me.
Brent couldn't open the link. Can you open it? It's a video.
Kevin, you don't have to talk about what's in it. You could just say,
Yeah,
we
you
have
can
a
just
first
say-
look for Outlander season 3, and then just let Wendy talk about it because she's the only one who's seen it.
I can handle that. Yeah, it looks like it's a direct link. It's one of those Bright Cove links to a Hulu video.
It was in an EW article. I can try to find it.
Oh, that's okay. No, I can see it. I just
Okay.
again,
No, I meant for Brent to be able to find the video.
Too late. I'm not going to watch it.
Okay.
After the
I think
podcast,
you would like it.
Well, no, after the podcast, I will.
Oh, all right.
I don't have
Yeah,
time to watch it now.
I think they posted a bunch of pictures too, didn't they? Promo stills.
Well, they only posted one because they're pimping their magazine for the pictures in it. It's it's their version of the last season's Game of Thrones where Jon Snow is standing in the middle of the battle. It's Jamie running off into battle. Action shot. That's the cover. I didn't see any other pictures.
Okay.
Did you see the end of season 2 or whatever, Wendy?
I did finally, yes.
Okay.
Okay, so
I think I'm ready. I don't know.
hold on, I'm getting close.
We're doing everything so differently now that I don't know. We'll find out.
Well, after 399, we had to throw ourselves a curveball.
That's a question I have for our listeners. Is it time for a reboot? Do we need to.
Whole new cast,
Wait a minute, what? You gonna ask them if they want to kick us off the island? Is that what you're doing?
No.
Younger people to.
I just
host
want to
it?
make
I was
sure
gonna say
we're,
we got to go younger. We got to skew younger.
We got to skew to the CW audience now.
Okay. Let's see. Links. They're open. What show did I get assigned, by the way?
Aftermath.
Oh, okay. All right. Good. It took me the longest time to figure out what that episode title was.
I'm surprised. Well, we'll talk about it when we get there. Never mind. Because I'm
that's-
surprised that there's some of our viewers who don't like Aftermath. It blows my mind.
Yeah. Bonita
find
wasn't a fan of it.
Yeah.
Well, someone else wasn't a fan either.
No, that's the one I remember because I remember she posted on our Facebook page.
For those of you who are wondering why I keep looking to the left, it's because I have another monitor over there and another laptop over there, and that's where I do my playing of the audio and also reading of the show notes. So, and also looking at Kevin's beautiful face. Oh, there's one.
We got a great tweet from Kim, our
Which Kim is it?
our Scapecast friend.
Kim Thompson? Kimberly?
Yes.
Hi,
She
Kim.
says that this
Burrito
chaos
Kim.
is very familiar to her.
But we don't have the problem of entering and exiting the room while we talk.
All right, let's see. I don't need to do much with this Google Hangout video. I can actually put this to the side, so that gives me some more room to actually see what's going on.
I got a scrunched little Google Hangout window over there.
Oh, yeah, I can resize this. Okie dokie.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.,
All right, so
Aftermath,
1, 2,
Luke
3.
Cage, Gotham,
I think I'm
Timeless,
ready.
Scream Queens. I'm ready.
I'm very close here. Let me just count, make sure I get all my news. 1, 2, 3. Yes, I do have the news articles and the shows there. I
just
think
move
it's time to get
Kevin,
this
did you want
train
to
off
talk
the
about
track.
Oh,
Kevin, did you
What?
make any changes in your catch-up on Lucifer? Anything you want to touch on at any point?
Yeah. If we have time, sure.
Okay.
That's a good idea. Thank you. See, I knew there was something.
Everybody's interested in your catch-up, so they're not so
and
interested in your
voting
mustard.
on your priority order.
Yeah, I do get that. Brent, do you use Total Tangent? Do you use Plex?
Use what now?
Plex.
Plex. Is that a movie thing?
It's a media manager.
No. I've
For
heard of it,
PC.
I think, but I don't use it.
Oh, okay, yeah. It's nice. I got the app on my Roku, so it organizes all my media files. It gives you a nice. Actually, it's really cool because when you bring up a show, it actually plays the theme song and gives you a background as it loads the video.
See, that's cool.
It is kind
For
of
my
cool.
media management, I tend to write my own code, so.
All right, I actually think I'm ready.
Oh, developers.
Okay, I'm ready too. So it's up to
Oh,
Wendy.
no, I'm not, because I
Oh.
have to load this new thing that lets me mute.
Yeah, and don't forget to start your recording this time, because
That would help too.
What new thing?
his mute button, his Windows mute button. He's not used to it. He used to have a button on his mixer.
You're still having that problem from last week?
Poor guy used to have a button on his mixer. He doesn't have it
Yeah,
anymore.
you said life was simple. It was one button. Yeah, like you, Kim, I've had Plex for a little while, but the most recent update's the one that's really kind of slick with all those nice little features like theme song and background images.
Hey guys, do we want to schedule into the show that's going to go out on the recording a period where we check for questions, or do we want to just do that like between blocks and do it for people who are here, or what?
Oh, I think if I get some good stuff, we can just throw it in, and that way people after the fact will get it.
Yeah, just like a sidebar thing. Just bring it up.
Yeah, I'll just say like
It sounds
from
fine.
the audience or something.
Sounds great, and then they can like tweet live about the article we're talking about and throw in their 2 cents, and you can say, "Hey, and so had this to say." Cool.
Yeah, because like now we've doubled our audience again. We're up to 4.
Woohoo! I just tweeted the shows we're going to talk about.
Is that a spoiler?
That we're going to talk about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I'm just kidding.
Well, that's not a spoiler. Everybody who watches or listens to this podcast knows that.
They pretty much knew we were going to talk about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I'm just being a wise ass. Okay, I think I'm ready, and if I can find my
Kevin, I'm going to have to bleep that now. No, I'm just kidding. That's an allowed word.
I still don't have the microphone thing though. Hold on, it's over here. That's default device, right? Okay. So, just so I'm gonna mute in 3, 2, 1.
Yep, you're muted.
Yeah, we're hearing
I'm
everything
back.
you're saying,
Now
Kevin.
you're
Oh,
back.
sorry. Wendy, come on.
What? Oh.
We're supposed to play along.
Don't mess with me, man. I get so many windows
should have
open, and if
muted
I
a little
sneeze,
bit
this thing
longer.
crashes. I take down the internet.
See, I avoid the teasing by testing my mute by muting and then asking you guys if you can hear me without telling you that I'm muting. And then if you don't respond, then I mute it.
Okay, I think I'm good to go.
Okay, then everybody fire up their recording software.
Recording software.
I am not recording a backup because that's what the YouTube is for.
Oh, okay, good point. All
Okey-dokey.
right.
I am squiggling.
All right.
Squiggling. All right.
Then we are almost counting down. Yes. We are counting down in 3, 2, 1, go.
Go.
Hey everyone, welcome to episode 400 of Tuning Into Sci-Fi TV. I'm Wendy Hembrock.
And welcome to our live audience. I'm Brent Barrett.
And I'm Kevin Batchelder.
And hello to the folks that are watching us live on our Google Hangout. We are very excited to have reached this milestone. We started in October of 2008, and we are still talking about genre television, so much genre television. I am wondering, though, guys, have we overstayed our run? Are we heading into supernatural territory at this point? We're going to have to reboot our format, start talking about football.
Smallville territory, not supernatural.
Do we need to start talking about global soccer to attract millennials or recast?
Something.
Kevin, are you live?
Yeah, there's this thing called mute, and I'm not using it properly. So you heard none of what I just said.
Yeah.
No, what I said was screw it. I mean, we started doing this show because we just wanted to talk about what we wanted to talk about. So we're not going to. No, sorry, folks. If you think we're going to adjust based on what you're looking for, those days are in our past.
Yes, there will be no changes. None of us are getting plastic surgery or makeovers.
Get off our lawn.
Anything.
You're stuck with us.
But we're glad that you've stuck with us so far, for sure. And as usual, we have a poll running talking about which of the new fall shows are you most excited about. Some of them have started. Westworld is still in the lead, but not by much. It's running at 32%. Luke Cage is coming in at number 2 with 29%. And Timeless and Dirk Gently are pretty close at 3 and 4.
Yeah, I did vote for Westworld, and I have to say, I know Kevin just got his copy of Westworld from Netflix on DVD as well. I got mine. I watched it that night, and I'll be kind to it. I think I definitely remembered it through young glasses, if you will, but it still was kind of fun to watch.
Yeah, no, that's my plan for Saturday night is to rewatch it before, the series starts tomorrow. But I know it's totally going to be one of those rose-colored glasses, or gee, I don't remember it being that choppy. But what the heck, it's 40 plus years old, so.
Yeah, I would be surprised if it doesn't show its age a little bit after that much time.
I read somewhere that I think it's not Westworld, but what was it? There's a sequel, Future World. Was that the one?
Future World
was the first film that used, I think, the pixelization effect to kind of make something hard to see on screen. Thought I read something like that. I don't know.
Westworld did that.
Did Westworld do it? Okay.
Looking through the eyes of the man in black, you see the pixelation.
Oh, okay.
What it looks at.
Maybe that was it there, but that was one of a couple things I guess it was a pioneer for in that way.
Well, I hope you notice it tonight when you rewatch. I definitely decided I didn't want to rewatch it because I really want to just see this show however it's going to be and not compare. And I don't have all that strong memories of the first one, so I don't think I'm not as attached to it as you two are. But we are definitely attached to our new show, so let's head over to the water cooler and start talking. First up, we're going to do the quick reviews for the shows that are on currently, and we think you should watch now, watch soon, let sit on your DVR, or skip, starting with Sunday, the 25th of September. Once Upon a Time returns for Season 6, Episode 1, The Savior. I haven't seen it.
I did see it. I'd say watch it soon.
Yeah, not one I'm watching.
And The Strain, Episode 5 of Season 3, Madness. Not a show I'm watching.
I'd give it a watch it soon as well.
Yep, not one I'm watching either.
Monday night, Gotham, Episode 2 of Season 3, Mad City, Burn the Witch. I thought this was pretty good. I would give it a high watch it soon.
And now you've hit one that I'm not watching.
And I'm on a roll of not watching.
Kevin, what are you doing? Are you watching Stranger Things?
Lucifer.
Eventually, we'll get to my stuff, okay? We will eventually get there.
Okay. The Big Bang Theory, Episode 2 of Season 10, The Military Miniaturization. I'm not watching this yet.
Hey, we've got to Kevin's stuff. Watch it soon.
Yeah, I had some good laughs. Watch it soon.
And Tuesday, Aftermath, Episode 101, RVL 6768. I would say watch it soon.
I'd give it a notch higher. I really enjoyed it. High end, watch it soon.
Yeah, I might even come to the border of a watch it now because I rewatched it and really enjoyed it again.
Well, maybe I should have rewatched it because that's why my rating was not quite as high. I didn't remember it all that well. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Episode 2 of Season 4, Meet the New Boss. Strong watch it soon.
Team's back together, so for me, it's another win this week. Watch it now.
I'll go maybe very low watch it now. I did enjoy this one more than the first time.
From Dusk Till Dawn, Episode 5 of Season 3, Shady Glen. I'm not watching this.
I'm not watching either.
Yeah, and I continue to be disappointed in Season 3, so it's just to let it sit.
Oh, it's your Beauty and the Beast, huh?
Oh.
No, I'm not saying skip it. It's not that bad, okay?
Well, I didn't say. Well, I did move to skip it pretty fast.
Yeah, you did.
And Friday, The Exorcist, Episode 2 of Season 1, Chapter 2, Lupus in Fabula. I would say watch it soon.
I'm not watching.
Not watching.
And Van Helsing, Episode 3 of Season 1, Stay Inside. I haven't seen this yet.
You did actually see it. It was one of the screeners, and I'd say hi and watch it soon.
Yeah, you did. We talked about it on the previous podcast.
I did. Yeah, I just forgot. I forgot that I saw it. Yeah, okay, I'm going to rate it. I would say strong watch it soon.
Yeah, I agree. Hi, watch it soon.
Yeah, I'm still not digging it. I'm probably low to mid. Watch it soon.
And on Netflix, we got the premiere of Luke Cage. I think we all watched the first episode, so maybe we'll rate that. It was Episode 1, Moment of Truth. I would give it a watch it soon.
I've seen almost the whole series, and I can say it gets better, but I agree the first episode, I'm actually going to go low watch it soon.
Yeah, and we've talked about this because of Netflix stuff. It's really tough to rate individual episodes since they expect you to binge them. But if on just that first episode, which is the only one I've seen so far, yeah, it's just a low watch it soon. You can tell it's a very slow burn.
Yeah, it's got a jazz vibe to it. It seems like we're going at jazz timing, slow jazz timing too. So we've got some listener feedback and voicemail to share. First up is a voicemail from Scott in Cape Cod talking about episode 400.
Yeah, I'm not hearing anything.
You so
that's
much.
why you're not hearing anything.
I just re-listened.
Sorry. If I mute my mic, I mute that too because it's coming into the same mix. I'm an idiot.
Phew, thought I broke something.
Hang on one second. A little bit of sidebar here, guys. A little bit of technical behind the scenes. I'm going to try to hook up some sort of a monitor for myself.
Can't hear you, Wendy. You muted us.
Oh, sorry, I muted.
You both are messing with me big time.
Oh, I didn't realize until you
I'm
said
seeing
Brent
lips moving
muted.
and not hearing anything, okay? I'm going to freak out.
Wow, this is really the behind-the-scenes improvisational side of what makes the magic happen.
Yeah, the part that hits the cutting room floor. And this is the first time this has ever happened.
Yeah, it's never like this.
Never.
Oh, Brent has left the building.
Yep.
Must be really
Scared 'em
serious.
off. And we lost one of our viewers. We scared them away.
Oh. They're just not
that I'm
into
obsessing
us.
with the viewership numbers or anything.
Yeah, you do have a lot to keep track of. You're looking at Twitter. You're trying to see who's online.
Browser windows, phones.
Sorry, Kevin. Making you do a lot of multitasking here.
Life in the digital age.
Has the
To
headphones.
be a gangster.
Oh, you know what I should do too? I'm going to open up.
Okay, let me do a quick test real fast, see if I can hear this.
Sincere congratulations on the amazing milestone of your 400th show. I've been listening since the very early double-digit episodes back in, 2009, I think. And you guys have been an important part of my week, every single week since then. All your listeners appreciate you so much. I just re-listened to your great 200th episode, and it was so hilarious and tongue-in-cheek. I loved it. Wow, that was over 4 years ago. You did such a great job, all of you, keeping in character of nerds from 1982. It was just awesome. 1982 sure was the dark ages in so many ways for us genre fans. Technology, number of shows, just everything. So you did a great job capturing that era. Any listeners who haven't heard that one should go back and listen. I guarantee you'll enjoy it. And then in the 100th episode, Brent joked about not being able to number beyond number 999. I sincerely hope you reach that milestone. And then in the 300th, Wendy wasn't there, but you guys mentioned that even on that date that you did that 300th show, you were already over 1,000 episodes of various shows. Do you have any idea where that number stands now? But anyway, congratulations to you all. You are indeed the best.
Thanks a ton, Scott. I was going to go get that number for you. I don't have it, unfortunately. I can imagine it's probably well over that number that I had before. Let's put it that way. But yeah, I think I could probably do an episode 1,000, maybe if I switch to hexadecimal.
Wait a minute, 1,000, so that's another 600 shows.
Well,
oh my goodness, I'm not even going to think that high, but as long as we're having fun, I guess it's always a possibility.
I wonder how many television shows they'll be on. at that point that are genre.
I think a lot of our our tuner minute about technology and embedded things in our brain will probably be going on by then.
Yeah, we'll just be like live podcast streaming. We could actually probably do it during every show. So that way we could get there faster, right? We could record a show a day or something. So thanks, Scott. That was awesome. We appreciate that. And it's funny because I remember how excited we were when we got to like 100 and 200 and we had all these plans. And when 400 was coming up, we're like, do we need to do something? We were definitely a lot more casual about this episode than the ones of the past. So, but thanks so much. We appreciate your support and all your feedback. We also got some voicemail from Matt in Australia talking about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Of course, you guys can't hear anything, can you? Because I muted
No,
my mic
you're
again.
muted again.
He's testing us.
Quiet, and we'll play the voicemail. I'm sitting here enjoying the voicemail, and I'm wondering why. Here we go.
The lead up to the season put me a little on edge with the left field inclusion of Ghost Rider, the move to an ABC death slot, and some general annoyance at how the show seems to have been forgotten by the rest of the MCU. I acutely remember a panel a while ago where they stated they had a set plan for the first 3 seasons, which have been great, but now heading into the 4th, I was a bit worried there might not be much left in the tank. As it turns out, these first 2 episodes have been great. For me, it seems the negative vibes around the show in regards to bad ratings, limited MCU crossover, and the like always dissipate completely once I'm actually watching the show. This is one of the fastest paced genre shows going on right now, which always makes it really rather enjoyable to me. I'm almost always actively engaged throughout the episode, very rarely bored. And I think I put that down to the show writers who intelligently rarely drag out plots for too long. The Ghost Rider has been slotted in really well. I understand that some people find the Flaming Skull's proportions to be a bit cartoony, but honestly, I think this is the best looking live-action Ghost Rider yet. The actor's really impressed me as well. He's brought a real sense of weight and gravity to the role, and as well as a great deal of menace. The other plot lines also have my interest. I understand the criticism of the team being scattered, but I think that's just a basic TV thing, to be honest. You can't just have an entire team working together, because then scenes would become too bloated with too many characters and be probably harder to delineate the separate plot threads. Of the returning shows, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is definitely atop of my list in regards to what I'm looking forward to the most. It actually might not end up being my favorite show on TV right now, although we'll have to see how Westworld and Luke Cage go. And I'm sure I'm not alone in being excited about those 2.
I appreciate it, Matt, very much. It's interesting because the Ghost Rider part has thrown me off a little for S.H.I.E.L.D., but when I put that to the side, I think I'm enjoying it as much. But as you heard, my ratings haven't been as high. But I do get some folks being a little nitpicky, but maybe not appreciating some of the coolness factor of that. So good stuff, though. I appreciate your thoughts.
Yeah, thanks, Matt. I'm totally okay with the Ghost Rider so far, and after seeing the 2nd episode of this season, which I won't talk about any more spoilers, but for me, they just kind of threw a lot at that pilot, and it seemed disjointed, or that 1st episode of this season. My point about having all the characters doing the same thing isn't that they're all in the same scene together, but at least that they're all focused on one problem. And I'm going to mention another show that's not a genre show, but it's Blind Spot, where I kind of like the way they have mixed it up on that show in terms of usually have 2 or 3 of the characters going off to a particular place, and they're working on one element of the problem that needs to be solved. And then you have a couple other characters going off doing the same thing someplace else, but they're always tied together with an overarching mission. And they still have time for the characters to have their own personal issues and character development to be going on. So I like that better. I really don't like when you literally have people off in their own worlds, kind of doing their own thing. But, hopefully they'll resolve that pretty quickly. Thanks again.
Yeah, thanks, man. I agree with a lot of your comments there, but I just have to say, Kevin, you're insane. Ghost Rider is awesome.
Yeah. can't argue. I can't argue with it. I mean, I think it is. I'm not sure it's a fit for Agents of Shield. I know it's in the universe. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know. For my feel for Agents of Shield, it just feels a little off.
I'm gonna hate to see you when when Blade shows up. That you're just gonna get so mad. You're gonna rage, aren't you?
No. I'm just saying. I just need a little time to get used to it.
How about Howard the Duck? When he shows up, are you gonna?
Oh,
flip
I
out?
will fall off my chair, slapping my knee. I'll be looking for Leah Thompson too, by the way. So.
I've heard that online, though. There's people who aren't quite sure about the supernatural element in the show so far. So I'd be curious to hear some other listeners comment about Ghost Rider 2.
We'll talk about that in the back porch, but I think they addressed that pretty well this week.
And we also got another voicemail from Matt talking about Stranger Things.
I don't wish to antagonize Kevin, but I really must encourage him to try to find the time to finish this season. It was a real pleasure watching this. I'm not the biggest Stephen King fan, but I actually had a lot of fun recognizing the tropes the show was harkening back to. It's not just Stephen King, though, and it's definitely not just a horror show. Something that struck me as I watched was how invested I got into several of the characters, which is really important to me. Mystery plot is good to unravel, but I really like having some characters to latch onto and root for as well. In particular, the mother, played by Winona Ryder, and the young children, including 11, their quest to find the missing boy, Will. Sometimes these kinds of mystery plots can become a little impersonal, but the show took great pains to show the love the friends and family of Will had for him, as well as their desperation to find him. I won't say the show was perfect. I did find that annoyingly for a show with only 8 episodes. I had a little too much padding and filler, but overall it was an amazing show, and it's amazing that the show had the trappings of a horror mystery, as well as having a great deal of death and terrible things happening. But at its core, it has a real wholesome heart to it. The characters, for the most part, are really rather likable, and you end up rooting for them to succeed. I definitely recommend it.
Hey, thanks, Matt. Yeah, I also definitely recommend Stranger Things. I agree that this is fundamentally a family drama, and it just turns out that this missing kid is missing for these, I'll call it genre reasons, and not the even more horrible ones that often accompany missing children in reality. So I agree, great performance by Winona Ryder. I think the actor who plays the sheriff is really good too. And those kids are fantastic. I mean, this show wouldn't work unless they had some really great child actors. So I really think that can't be overstated enough, because they really carry so much of the story and the touching moments. I mean, to me, we talked about the Stephen Kingness, but there's I'll call it the good Steven Spielberg elements, not where he gets a little too cheeseball, but I think about E.T. There's some real borrowing of the spirit of how those kids were in Stranger Things to the kids that were in E.T. or the Goonies too.
Yeah, thanks, Matt. I agree. By the way, with Wendy and you, the actors are great. The kids are great. And what's really wonderful, based on what you said and what Wendy said, was that this is a series that really can be taken however you want to take it. You can take it as a family drama. You can take it as a mystery. You can take it as a science fiction adventure. You can take it as a horror. You can take it however you want, but you don't have to take it the way you don't want it. I remember Kevin was saying he's not really into horror. You don't have to watch it as a horror. It isn't horror if you don't want it to be horror. Cool.
And I totally get that. That was probably just a crutch for me in terms of available time to be able to watch it, knowing that it has all those. And I've heard the same things from many of you. And I know it was a very popular topic, as Wendy saw too, at Dragon Con, even with cosplay and discussion panels and other stuff. So realize that it is actually on my list. Now, making it on my list is quite an accomplishment, because there are lots of good shows I just don't have any time for. So it's not like I don't plan to get to it. It's just I'm good with the single focus of a catch-up show, and right now that's Lucifer. So check back in a few weeks, and it may be Stranger Things that's on the list.
So keep lobbying, listeners.
No, because Matt and a lot of other folks are good to keep reminding me of this stuff, and I do appreciate it. I mean, sometimes it's good with all the other stuff that flies around that we have to cover, to sometimes hear it and go, yeah, that's right, I do mean to get to that. So no, I appreciate when the listeners do that, social media or voicemail or whatever. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think fall and Halloween is also a great time in particular to close out your Stranger Things watch. I think it would be fitting for the season. We also got an email from Matt talking about some other shows that we had discussed.
Email from Mark.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. We also got an email from Mark. We had talked last week and before about thoughts from folks who are still watching Z Nation and Fear the Walking Dead, as well as what people think about whether The Walking Dead is a franchisable or not. So let's talk about his email a little more in detail, which Brent is going to kick off.
Yeah, Wendy pretty much just covered it, but Mark is also a big zombie fan, and I am too, and he wanted to chime in with his love for Z Nation as being a much more lighthearted sort of a zombie world or zombie apocalypse world, and enjoying it, and I think that's great. I understand it's lighthearted and stuff. It's just, for me, it's just a little too cheesy. At least it was in the beginning, and I just never could really get into it. Fear the Walking Dead, he talks about, some of the, he also understands it's not the world's greatest, but he does talk quite a bit about the show as well, and the reasons he enjoys watching it still. And he does comment on The Walking Dead as a franchise, and thinks it would be pretty boring after a while, which I think all of us are kind of on board with the same feeling. But he's also on board with potentially a movie from time to time touching on the universe might be okay. So on that point, I think we're all in agreement.
Yeah, and the Z Nation, the humor side, the joke side, the kind of having a little fun with it, definitely, like I've mentioned, because it's from the folks at the Asylum. It is one, while it's not on my list, it is still in my sightline, shall I say, that if something crazy happened with it a bunch of time, I would probably watch some of it, because it does seem like it might be a part I would want to see. And the points on the Fear the Walking Dead and the original Walking Dead, totally in line with where they're at. It's just, and I hate to keep saying it because everybody keeps going back to how well done it is, but I'm like, I'm sorry, it's just too slow.
Yeah, thanks, Mark. Z Nation, I agree with you, Kevin. That might be a show that if they ran a marathon, I might watch if it was, a day when there wasn't a million other things to do. Because I did sort of inadvertently catch a couple of episodes while I was waiting for something else to come on or something. And it seemed pretty enjoyable. To me, I always think it has sort of a Zombieland vibe, or that, what was that Kevin Bacon series, Tremors, the movies? It has that B-movie quality to it, but in a good way. I don't know. It just couldn't sustain me week to week, though, but maybe a little mini marathon might do. I've heard people say Fear the Walking Dead is better. I just can't reward The Walking Dead, though, for making a slow story. So I'm glad that folks who've stuck with it are finding it's improved, but I'm just not interested in going back to that well. And I think I'm in agreement that The Walking Dead might have a future with movie franchise, but I'm definitely not interested in more series, at least anytime soon. So thanks so much, everyone, for the feedback. We really appreciate it. Let's move on to some news. First, Kevin's got about a show coming to Amazon.
Yeah, we had mentioned that one of the pilots up there on Amazon, as they do for voting and such, was The Tick. And they just announced this week that is one of the shows that is going to go to series. So we are going to get a chance to see that, which is great to see. Sometime in 2017 is all they'll say at this point. But for those who might have enjoyed the original, or maybe didn't want to even take a shot at the pilot till they knew it was coming, feel free if you want to go. I assume Amazon keeps those up still. I'm not sure after the fact, but it has been ordered to series, and we've got a while to wait.
That's really good news, especially for fans of The Tick, the original series, because I think, you want the next one to be good. And I've only seen a part of this pilot. I haven't seen the whole thing. But I think this is good news.
Yeah, I haven't checked out the pilot, but I did. I was never a really big fan. I never read the comics of The Tick. I did see a little bit of the animated, and I did see a little bit of the live action. But I think when it becomes a series, I think I will check it out just to see how it goes. I might even go up and check out the pilot since I am a Prime member. It's available for Prime, right, Wendy?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
I think they do their pilots too, though, so you don't even have to be a Prime member.
Yeah,
could be wrong.
the pilots are the ones that they want everybody to watch and vote
Okay.
on. So I think that'll stay up like forever.
Yeah.
So let's move on to something else that's coming. I've got some news about what Fox is cooking up. They've actually ordered a script from Jessica Alba. Remember her? She used to be on Dark Angel on Fox, which was pretty successful. She's producing a drama called Girl 10, which is an AI show. So it's set in the future, revolves around 1 of 10 synthetic humans. And she's being investigated for murder and, of course, trying to fight crime and also, solve some vast conspiracy involving people who want to abuse technology. But Kevin Woodruff, who I guess writes for Gotham, and he also wrote for The Mentalist, is going to write this script. So the only commitment order they have is to write the script. That's it at this point. But I think this is worth mentioning that Fox is heading back into this arena, even after we had Almost Human, which I really liked, but they didn't continue.
And Second Chance. Well, rest in peace, Second Chance.
Yep.
Wendy, I can assure you, and I know I can speak for Kevin, that we never forgot about Jessica Alba.
No. Well, they might have forgotten that Dark Angel was on Fox.
Well, she's been in some movies too. I
was talking specifically about her relationship with Fox.
Sure. The premise sounds cool, but it also sounds typical of Hollywood, where things start becoming successful critically, or people are watching them and they're like, oh, we need to do one of those. So it's another one, because we had the Machina movie, we had the Machine movie, we had Humans, we've had, like you said, Almost Human, all sorts of these shows on TV that people have liked and critically have been received well by the fans. And now it looks like Jessica Alba and some other people are involved in making yet another one. And of course, we started out with Caprica and things like that. So I'm on board. I'll check it out. I like that kind of stuff if it's done well. Kevin, we see your mouth moving. We don't hear anything.
Yeah, and we said, too, that recently it was announced that Sci-Fi is going to turn that premise of the machine into a series, too. So, like you're pointing out, Wendy, it's everybody jump on the bandwagon for this type of project. From the notes I see in the article, it's one of those situations where there's one of those financial penalties attached if it doesn't go to series. So this is one of those things where it's highly likely it will, although it's not guaranteed. But, if Jessica ends up in front of the camera too, that'll certainly pique my interest a little more, I'll be honest.
Well, she's interesting because she's a very smart businesswoman. And, she's been involved with a lot of successful genre franchises already. So I would assume she would at least have some kind of a role, maybe not even a recurring character, but I would bet she would appear somewhere. Because she seems like a pretty smart cookie to know her draw, that what she brings to the interest in particular projects, for sure. So let's move on to some good news for a show on Sci-Fi that Brent has to share.
Yeah, it's a show that I'm watching called The Strain. Apparently, the showrunners in this article that we're going to link you to talked about how they had planned to make this a 3-year show. And when they got done writing the 3rd season, which is the season that's airing now, they realized, we should probably write a little bit more to finish out the story properly. And apparently, from what the showrunner is saying, FX agreed. So FX has decided to renew The Strain for a 4th and final season. I believe it's early enough, at least based on what the showrunner is saying, that they're going to have a good time, enough time to, completely wrap out the story the way they want to. So that's pretty cool. I have enjoyed this series. It started out really interesting in the very beginning, and even Wendy was watching it then and was interested in a few things, and then it got really kind of, and then it got really good again. And right now it's in the really good phase.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, this is a show I only watched a little in the beginning. Liked it a bit, but it just couldn't make the cut with other shows. But I really do love this trend of when they're announcing renewals for a lot of our shows, they're letting us know, and the showrunners know, that it's the final season. So things are getting done, hopefully, the right way. Now, I really do like that trend.
Yeah, I like that trend too, because it gives me some confidence that the story isn't going to go off the rails and they're not going to drop things or start experimenting or changing the show drastically. If it's a show that has, overwhelming arcs to it. So that's good news. Yeah, I have thought about trying to go back and watch the show because Brent had said it was good. And when it was interesting, I definitely was on board. So this is one that I'm thinking might be like a marathon at some point down the road, especially if Brent tells me they wrap things up well. But I think that's good news for Strain fans for sure. So let's move on to some cool trailers that we have to talk about. The first one that Kevin's going to talk about is from the CW.
Kevin, muting.
I guess I'm fine with like 5 things to do, but make it 6 and I'm a total loser. Yes, we have a trailer for Arrow. Before I do that, a quick mention, since I see our viewer numbers going up for our folks who are watching the live stream. If you want to interact with us, feel free to tweet at us at Tuning Into Sci-Fi. We are keeping an eye there if you want to interact. And then, as I said, and Wendy pointed out, we've got the trailer, a new one for Arrow, nice meaty one, well over 2 minutes long, which is great to see. We've got some action scenes for what's going on early. We've got some of the I guess some folks are teasing it as Arrow Team 2.0, some of the new members that might be involved. Got some, what look like it's going to be some scenes from this season's set of flashbacks for Oliver, which could be good, but, some of the characters they've cast there have given me high hopes. We were a little light on Felicity. That's probably the only thing I'll ding it for in this particular trailer, but otherwise pretty good.
Yeah, this was good as far as content goes. There was a lot of meat in this trailer for sure. I hope that they're going to conclude the flashbacks with a much better story this season than last season, because last season never interested me, to be honest, and not entirely sure even how it tied into the present day events. Usually they try to make those pretty clear. But yeah, this looks good. I have to admit, I'm really lukewarm about the return of Arrow. It's probably one of the shows I'm least anticipating from the CW. So this did a good job of getting me a little bit more interested in the return.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Arrow is one of the shows that's been around for a while, and I loved it, but it is not really high on my list right now. But this trailer did pique my interest, which is good. There were some actiony bits in here which I liked. There was a scene which looked like Oliver might have crossed a line that Felicity had been trying to keep him from crossing for a long time. But Kevin, a light on Felicity, did you miss a particular kissing scene that was in there that seemed very important?
No, I didn't miss it. I'm just, I'm a little hesitant on what that's going to mean, but time will tell. Time will tell. I mean, I want to see Felicity back as part of the team. I don't just want her being the, like the one who's having everybody tell their problems to. So I'm very conflicted. I know what I want. I'm not sure we're going to get it. I did see that scene, but I don't know what it means, so I'm a little confused.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Well, then I think the trailer did its job. You're thinking about it, and you're left with feelings that you're not sure how you want to process yet. So speaking of the CW and all of the DC Universe shows, we have a link in the show notes to a new Supergirl trailer that's got a lot of Superman in it, for sure, as well as some other characters that we've been hoping to see, notably Cat Grant. So I like this trailer. I'm very intrigued by this whole thing of really focusing on the fact that Superman's coming to town, too. I hope it doesn't upset the balance that they finally got to at the end of season 1 with the formation of her little team.
Yeah, last week we talked about the first trailer that came out where we speculated and wondered why, it was so focused on Superman. And then this one didn't help matters much by focusing again on Superman. So as Wendy said, I think it's made to appeal. I personally think that these two trailers are meant to appeal to the fans of the current DC movies, because you've got, the whole Superman versus Batman stuff and the Justice League thing going and all of that. So people are like, I want more Superman. Here's Superman, yay. But I don't think he's going to be that prominent in the series. Something tells me he will be a recurring character. He'll be in a few episodes probably this season, but I don't think he's going to be in every episode like they're kind of making the trailers look.
Yeah, and that's kind of the feel. Is I as regular listeners know, I was up and down on Supergirl for a season, but thought there's a lot of promise here. So I'm a little, I won't say concerned. I guess for those same reasons, Brent. I just like, okay, I get it. It's Superman. You want to play him up, but come on, give me the characters that I want to be hooked on. So I'm a little underwhelmed by that. But otherwise, the other parts look certainly good.
Well, I'm thinking that it's the old bait and switch. So I'm hoping that we're going to get more of what we came to like, or at least I certainly came to like at the end of season 2. And this is just, waving the shiny, new, handsome Superman around to lure people maybe who didn't even watch season 1. So we shall see. But speaking of superheroes, Brent has some info for some other superheroes from the CW.
Yeah, you folks will remember last year that the CW released their Superhero Fight Club, which was really cool because it had all the superheroes from their network, as well as some of the villains fighting it out in a big arena. Well, they've done the same thing for this season, including Supergirl, and they have it available, the full episode, or whatever you want to call it, webisode, available on their app, their mobile app. I don't have their mobile app, so I haven't seen it, but we're going to link you to two things. One is a teaser for it, and the other is an actual clip from it, which is not obviously the full length, but it's a continuous bit of the webisode. So it looks interesting. I'm going to have to ask Kevin or Wendy or whoever has the app to let me know what it has and anything cool in it. I'm sure it is fun. It looks fun.
And I haven't seen it on the app, but it reminded me, which put down an item for me to do this weekend, of adding the app to my Roku to make sure I can check it out. But the teaser is really cool, again. And also a big part of the teaser is promoting the fact that the episodes are going to be able for free on the Fire TV and the Roku and via the Apple TV too. So they're really playing it up, which I love seeing.
Sorry, I'm not good at multitasking. Yeah, this looks awesome. I don't have it. I'm actually going to try to see if I can get it on the TiVo, because I might be able to get it through the TiVo. But this is a ton of fun. I really like the tone of it. It just is the part of this whole universe that I really enjoy, of the tone of Flash and Supergirl. So very cool. I'm definitely looking forward to it, and also the actual crossover that's coming as well. So let's move on to another show that has some time travel in it. Kevin's going to talk about what might be coming in season 3 for Outlander.
And how he's going to talk about it, since he doesn't watch the show, is to say, yay, first look, pass it off to someone else to talk about.
So this is a video from the EW, which is going to put Sam Hewn, who plays Jamie, on the cover to kick off the return of Outlander. And if you don't want to know anything about what's coming, then stop listening for a second. Although I don't really think it's spoilery, but they're going to diverge from book 3 as far as starting with the Battle of Culloden. And that isn't how book 3 starts. So we get some more details about why they decided to do that, why Ron Moore did. And also they talk about the structure of how they're going to balance who is when in the show. And I won't say anything more than that. But this was cool that they actually came out with some substantive details, because in the past, they haven't really shown us much. They've just shown us some pictures and trailers that are obvious footage, but not too much story. This time they're actually telling us a lot more about the story.
Yeah, I haven't seen this one yet. I have some browser problems, but I am looking forward to checking it out after we record. I will say for anybody who's not an Outlander fan and is curious, Outlander got very timey-wimey and very sci-fi towards the end of season 2. And it got me very much interested in checking out season 3. So I'm looking forward to watching this.
Yeah, so am I. It's definitely gotten timey-wimey, which leads us to our 200-minute, which I recorded, because time seems to be all over the place right now in genre. So here's a 200-minute I recorded called It's About Time.
And like I said, I'm going to play it raw.
We are seeing a plethora of time travel shows right now, like the recent ones, Man from the High Castle, Outlander, The Flash, Legends of Tomorrow. And there's a crop of new shows coming with Timeless, Frequency, and in the mid-season, Time After Time, and Making History. So I'm wondering, if you could time travel, when would you go and what would you do? Would you travel back in time to change your own history, fix something you regret, take a road not traveled? Or do you want to make something happen with the knowledge you have from the future? Like try to kill Hitler, buy IBM stock in the 50s, or real estate? Or would you go forward in time? What is it about time travel for you? I'm Wendy Hembrock.
That is a great one because, as I've said many times on the show, my number one favorite subgenre is time travel. Zombies are in there, but I mean, nowhere near time travel. Time travel is my number one. I love all the new shows coming out. That's why I loved Continuum so much, and shows of that nature. And 12 Monkeys is one of our favorites around here as well, too, even though it's kind of crazy and hard to keep track of. But what would I do personally? I don't know, because what fascinates me, what I love about time travel is all of the different aspects of how different writers interpret the space-time continuum. Whether it's something that is always going to happen no matter what, you can't change anything. For people who go into the past, those ones that say, no matter what you do, events are still going to unfold the way they unfold. And then there's the other ones that create alternate timelines, like Continuum does or did. That's what fascinates me is the different theories of time travel more than me going myself, So I don't really have any great interest in going back or forward, although, if I was to go back in time, and being able to be isolated in such a way that I knew I couldn't screw anything up, if the truth is that I could go back in time and screw things up, I wouldn't want to do that. Then I would probably go back and try to witness some things, maybe. I don't know if I'd go back in my own lifetime. I lived it. I don't really know what else I would want to go back and see. I definitely wouldn't want to change anything. I wouldn't want to tell a younger self to do something, because, what I did back then is who I am now, and I want to be who I am now. So I wouldn't do any of that. Going forward, that would be kind of cool to see things in the future. So I'd probably, like I said, I'd be a tourist in the past who could be isolated and not change anything, or I'd go into the future and say, hey, that looks pretty cool. But then again, you have to wonder, if I go into the future and I see things, could I theoretically change? So now, I just, time travel is not for me, Wendy. I just want to enjoy watching it. Let's put it that way.
What?
Oh, no, you got to follow the time travel rules of, touch nothing, or the whole ripple of time.
Butterfly effect.
Prime
Yes.
Directive.
Prime Directive.
Which no one follows.
Well, we wouldn't have our shows if the people did, right? This is such a big palette of what to choose from. Oh my goodness. My answer would probably change by the day, depending upon the mood I was in. I certainly, for the guy who loves a lot of these certain movies and stuff, one segment of me would just love to go back in time and somehow find a way to be there as they're making these movies that eventually became cult classics, in the moment, to see how things were being done that they may not have realized what turned into something so much bigger than it was, things like that, So that'd be, for a lot of our entertainment pieces, a show you love, that great scene, or writing something, maybe what someone went through and had no idea what it eventually would become. That might be a lot of fun, to be able to do it there, beyond the whole bigger picture of being able to visit historic times or get that glimpse of the future. I think that, for me, is what kind of gives me a chuckle.
Well, that's interesting. So first of all, I was thinking, wow, why haven't we talked about this question before? But it seemed timely for our episode 400, and also because there's all these time travel shows coming out right now. And it really was prompted by watching a show I think we're going to talk about, which is Timeless. And for me, I'm kind of like you, Brent. If I went back in the past, I would want to just observe something historically interesting. And I think I would kind of like to go to Philadelphia and watch the founders arguing about the Constitution. I think that would be really interesting to do. I don't have anything that I want to go back and change, like, as a mission. I don't think I would want to go try to kill Hitler, for instance. But I think what I would rather do is go into the future and, as you mentioned, only observe. And it's mostly just because I'm curious. I want to know, what's it going to be like in 200 years? That's something I'd like to do. Plus, I like the idea of thinking I could come back home afterwards. I mean, one of the problems with a lot of time travel shows is, going out on the adventure, but then can you actually get back home? So that would be my preference today. And as Kevin mentioned, it might change the next time I'm asked this question, but I'll be very curious to hear what our listeners have to share about time travel as well. So send us in some feedback. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, tweet it now. Let us know.
All four of you answer the question. And while we're waiting for the answers, we will head over to the back porch. So first up, we are going to talk about the most recent episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Meet the New Boss, and Brent is going to start us off.
I sure am. And the second episode, pretty much, well, not totally, but gets some of the team back together already. So hopefully that helped Kevin. And it did, because his quick review rating went a little bit higher. So I'm sure that had part of something to do with it. Daisy continues on her quest to stop or help or what exactly, I don't know, Ghost Rider, because I'm not sure she understands exactly what's going on there, but she's really, really into figuring him out, I think. And we find out, interestingly enough, that the ghost or the phantom that, touched those guys and had him seeing all the blind, touched May and had her seeing all of the crazy faces, is not necessarily a ghost or phantom. It looks like she is one of 4 people who were part of some sort of an experiment and were trapped in these boxes, and she finds the others and she breaks them out, and one of them even says he's going to burn the place down because of what they did to him, and she wants to find a book, and which kind of, the book leans a little bit more towards, well, maybe it's a little supernaturally kind of thing that happened to them, but it looks more scientific to me than supernatural. And the one who's going to stay actually is still there when Fitz and Mac come to investigate the place, and he fights with them and locks Mac in the chamber, and is about to hurt Fitz when Ghost Rider arrives, and he's got his own unique set of powers, which, according to the Ghost Rider mythos and book series, are very supernatural. So we'll have to see how they play that out in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., whether it's a scientific explanation, a inhuman explanation, or if it really is the supernatural explanation that even he believes. But his power, he's able to just basically dissolve this guy and destroy him. So that was really cool. He takes down that guy, and he also takes a photo of the other ghosts that were in the room, as well as another person, I think, who might be the one that everybody was blaming for what happened to them. It looks like he's going to be on the hunt for them as being kind of behind or somehow really closely tied with what's going on that he's trying to investigate and put a stop to in his neighborhood, or just maybe he's under orders from his boss, if you will. I don't know. May is strong. I remember last week I speculated that maybe she's just strong and she's going to be able to resist the vision she's seeing because she wasn't really reacting to them much. She is strong. She does fight. She does resist. And she even realizes at one point that she is under the influence of whatever has touched the other guys that they've got in isolation. And she goes to ask them about it. But, during the course of that, it finally gets to her. It's too much for her, even for her. So she finally goes a little mad. And the new director is the one who has to come in and actually stop her We meet him. We do talk to him a little bit more and learn more. He almost seems robotic to me. And at the end, when he's confronting May and he's actually subduing May, I'm thinking, oh, he is a robot. He's going to turn out to be a robot. No, he admits he's an inhuman, because I think she calls him a monster. And he says, I prefer the term inhuman, which is a really cool reveal this early in the series, which is one of the things I love about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. They don't really tend to hold on to things and secrets and things very long. They tend to get going with the story. It's just boom, 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 which I love. May is taken away somewhere. No one really knows. We see her on a plane at the end, still kind of mad, but people are escorting her somewhere. On the plane at the end, after Mac and Fitz meet up with Daisy, Daisy's sitting there, and and Mac's trying to help her out, but Mac finally realizes that he offers her the pills that'll help her healing of her arm, and realizes that she's been taking those supplies because they've been running low. And then he puts two and two together and figures out that Yo-Yo has been helping her. So he's not too happy with that. Fitz is very upset with her because he knows why she's doing what she's doing, because she had such trauma in her life and she's turning her back because she wants to deal with it. And he just confronts her and basically says, the rest of us have had stuff like this happen to us, and we don't turn our back on each other. We stay together as a team. And Daisy finally leaves those guys, and at the very end hooks up with Ghost Rider, gets into his car, and it looks like they're off to find the bad guys. So I'm really jazzed, because not only do we get a director who's an inhuman, and what is that going to mean, and how is that going to play out, what's happening with May, and I can also almost see Kevin right now saying, but these are so many different stories going in so many different directions. And then we've got what Daisy's doing with Ghost Rider, and also we got the whole Fitz thing, of course, with the decoys again. So we're gonna figure out what's going on with that. But I'm jazzed with this season, because I love Ghost Rider, and I just love that introduction of that into the storyline. But the other elements that they're putting in here too are really cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of coolness to it, which is part of what keeps me smiling and enjoying it. As I said, I have not totally embraced Ghost Rider on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., even though I think the character's cool and all, and I know it fits from the rights issues and all that. So, but what I really did like about this episode was Daisy and Ghost Rider and their conversations, and now it looks like them maybe I don't know if you want to say teaming up, or actually at least aligning a little bit to what they're going to do. So that was kind of good. I thought that was a good evolution. I'm glad to see that happening there. I did like the new director. I like that he's an inhuman. I like that he realizes how close Coulson is to Daisy and to May, so that's why he can't tell him what's going on. I mean, he's smart enough to know that, which is good. It was going to make Coulson uncomfortable, so that's very natural to see it happen that way. As you said, Brent, yes, there's a million storylines, and part of me is just like kid in a candy store, like, yay, look at all this stuff, and part of me wants it to kind of settle into a little more focus, but I'm sure that's probably where they eventually drive it to. So I'm still very much digging it. There's a lot of good stuff in here to enjoy. And again, those scientist people that are kind of like, to give it a simple name, ghosts or whatever, again, not a thing I'm, that much of a fan of. So we'll have to wait to see. But hey, I still love a lot of what's going on here.
I think I'm loving some of what's going on. I definitely agree that I like the Ghost Rider character, and I like when he and Daisy are teaming up for sure. I thought there was a great scene though when Mac is treating her and Fitz is there, and he's trying to tell her to come home, basically, and he puts the pieces together to figure out that Yo-Yo has been helping her all along. And I just thought that was a beautifully played scene, talking about, how she's hurt them because she left, and, it's for her to work out her own issues, but it still had this really big impact on them. I just thought that was a really well played scene amidst all the other stuff that's going on in the episode. And I really liked when they had that whole capture of May. We have the new boss being the one who actually is finally able to knock her out. But at the end when she's taken, that was pretty chilling. I'm kind of worried about what's going to happen to her and how long she's going to be gone and stuff. So I agree. I don't know why in the first episode they kept on just talking about the boss, like making it some big deal. I'm glad we didn't have to wait any longer to meet him and to, as you pointed out, Brent, to find out what he is. So I'm going to be very curious to see how he sort of fits in with the whole mix overall, though. I think I like this episode a little bit better than last week, too. So the trend is in the right direction. So let's move on to another show. This is the new one that just started, Aftermath, which we kind of gave a early review of some screeners that we saw, but Kevin's going to start off the discussion of episode 1.
Yes, this was a nice, pleasant surprise. One, a show that was on my list of ones to check out. Not gigantic high hopes, but as you folks, if you're listening along, heard as we got a couple of new trailers. Like with each one, I was a little more interested. Being Sci-Fi Channel, Tuesday night show, I believe it is. And as we said in our spoiler-free comments last week, they did a great job engaging folks with this family, telling it from the family's point of view. And I really liked the actors and the characters. Seemed very natural to me. I know this didn't hit with everyone, meaning some of our listeners, and I've seen some comments and some reviews online that, not saying it's bad, but just kind of like not feeling it's distinctive. But for me, maybe it was a little bit of the regular disasters. How's that for a couple of words together? The idea that there's weird natural things happening on the earth that are causing this, but we're also seeing supernatural creatures and supernatural happenings and all that. That's a combo I don't remember seeing that much, certainly on TV shows, and it really worked for me. And I really am digging the family aspect of these folks. It's working. The teenagers, the parents, the little role reversal a bit where the mother is the one who's got the military background. The father's the one who's a little more book smart, or the guy who's worked at the college. So having them figure out what's going on, jumping in their RV to try to go out there and encountering some of these different things they've seen so far, I'm very interested in the show, and I think it's totally working for me. I'm not going to say it's going to end up being one of my favorites or like that, but I thought they really kicked it off with a really good first episode, and I'm hoping they can keep that momentum going.
Yeah, I agree. I liked how quickly, the disaster started, I guess. We didn't spend too much time, figuring out who's who yet in terms of the characters. It really started to have plot, and then characterization was driven by the plot. I like Anne Heche being the one who's, good in a crisis because she's got the military preparedness background. She's kind of more cynical than her husband. As you pointed out, Kevin, there's possibly a supernatural element to what's going on, and he already starts talking about that when he starts talking about some mythology that might tie into what they're seeing. So it to me captures what it must actually feel like when you're in a crisis like that, where you don't really know what's going on yet. So everything's kind of open to interpretation. And, we have the more sciencey teenage daughter who keeps coming at it from science. And she's like, this isn't possible. How is this tornado here already? But then she is thinking that it is a meteor shower that's really happening. So I liked how we have her. And then you have the other teenage daughter who is pretty much clueless to what's going on. And she's off on her own teen world, right? And so, of course, she's in a lot of danger because of that. So, yeah, for me, it worked in terms of tracking the people as they move through the drama. I'm definitely interested.
Yeah, you mentioned the two daughters, and I'm struck by how often in storytelling you have two daughters, and there's always going to be one who's kind of an airhead and one who's kind of a nerd. And same with sons. You have two sons, one maybe a jock and one's maybe a nerd, sort of thing. So that is kind of funny. I love how the one exchange between the two sisters early on, where the more airheady one, I guess you want to call her that, it claims that she's 17, and the other one says, oh, "That's funny. I'm 16 and we're twins." She's trying to make herself look older. But it was really, I enjoyed it because, as you said, the story just went. And I love shows that respect us enough to know that we can figure out and we can pick up details of what the family was like before and stuff. We don't need, an entire episode or several episodes of buildup. I'm speaking to you, Fear the Walking Dead, before it happens. We don't need that. You can go into the story. You really can. So I love that about it. The characters are all very appealing. The actors are doing a wonderful job. All of them, not one of them took me out of the story at all. I was a little afraid in some of the trailers on this one, and I think we talked about it before we actually saw it. Maybe, I'm not sure, about how there were a couple scenes, like one scene that you see in the trailer. So I'll talk about it, where the family's driving along the road, and there's this guy in like a dress and another guy, and they're on a machine gun on the back of a truck, and I'm like, this looks Z Nation-y. This looks like a B movie. I don't like this. But that was never in any other part of the show. It was just trying to emphasize how weird things had gotten, and that there were people acting extremely weird, and that's one of the aspects of the story. So I really enjoyed it. I think they did a really good job. Again, trying to avoid any spoilers of what happens. But I love the characters, their interactions, the decisions that were made in the story. There was one decision, when we get to the point where we can talk about spoilers on this, where I'll point out where I think I could nitpick a little bit, where I don't like where they went with it, but I enjoyed the entire story. I was literally on the edge of my seat. I sent an email to the rest of the crew after that, and I think that set high expectations for Kevin probably, but I was literally on the edge of my seat. And at the end of the episode saying, I am blown away. I started this as a background because I thought, well, I'll just watch this screener in the background. And then by the end, I was literally sitting on my sofa just watching it going, wow, what's going on? I'm not saying it's the highest brow fiction out there, guys. I'm just saying it's really good.
Well, we are, total back porch here. If you want to talk about something from the app, no reason you can't, Brent.
Oh, I thought we were talking about Timeless for some reason, because that's why I said.
I think that's why, because I'm like, I'm looking at the document, it says we're spoiler free. And then I'm like, oh, that's not the show we're talking about.
That's not the show we're talking about. Yeah, okay, no, let me talk about it then before we continue. The thing that kind of bugged me a little bit was, there was a scene where this possessed guy comes down and grabs the airhead daughter, if you will, and flies off with her. And my first reaction was, they're gonna split these guys up. They're gonna drag this out. Now there'll be this long quest to get their daughter back. And by the end of the episode, it looks like they're getting them back together. And I was like, okay, cool. And then they split them up again, because I guess the town explodes or whatever. The town is gone. And I also, by the way, another thing about if we're talking spoilers, that I loved was the guy who is kind of feeding off people in the darkness at well, not the beginning, but somewhere during the episode, and the volcano goes off again. And at one point, he comes up to this cop and says something like, "You need to get indoors," or I don't know what he said, but the bad guy says, "Not anymore," or something like that. Because now that this volcano keeps erupting, am I thinking of the wrong show, guys? I'm thinking of.
No, you're thinking of the right show.
Okay, I'm confusing shows now. I thought I was thinking of Van Helsing for a minute. But no, I loved it. I can't wait for the next one.
Yeah, you pointed out the thing about the daughter, and at first I was like, oh, I'm going to be really frustrated if they don't reunite them right away. But it actually worked for me, that it was like, oh, they're so close. And then now, the town's split in two. So even though it's not the most creative writing, it worked for me. That, dramatically it worked for me. So I'm going to be curious if we get some other listener feedback. We got some on our Facebook page that didn't love the show as much as we did. So I'm going to be really curious to hear some other data points from some other listeners. Let's move on now to a show that came to Netflix that we've been talking about a lot. It was Luke Cage. I know Brent has seen a lot of it. I think Kevin and I have only seen the first episode, and we're only going to talk about the first episode in this particular show. It was called Moment of Truth. And there's some things I really liked, very typical with the other Netflix shows in this series, Daredevil and Jessica Jones. I think it has established its take of New York City. We're not going to be focused in Hell's Kitchen. We're focused in Harlem. So we went uptown from where events have been happening with the prior two series. I really love the music in the show. I'm going to caveat that, though, by saying, as I mentioned when we were doing the ratings in the water cooler, that it's kind of jazz. And sometimes jazz gets a little improvisational and long for me. And it kind of felt that way. There was a couple of scenes where it's like, yeah, this is going on a long time. And, maybe that's the tendency because Netflix is giving the show, I'll call it the air to breathe. So, even for instance, in the opening scene where they're in the barber shop, you have a long time of people just talking and talking and talking, which it clearly established the setting and the tone. And then when Luke Cage actually emerges into the scene and talks, he establishes his presence very specifically in that conversation. But it was slow for sure. But that being said, I can be patient, mostly because I really like the Luke Cage character that we met in Jessica Jones. He seems like the same guy, although maybe a little bit more insight into his, I'll call it, tortured thinking, perhaps. He seems to be a guy who stews. I did like that, again, the show did some nods to the bigger universe, talked about the Avengers, mentioned Jessica Jones as his rebound girlfriend at one point as well. So I like that. I just really like the actor who plays Luke Cage. I think he's just wonderful to watch at any time. He's got a lot going on in his performance. I liked the side characters they introduced. Pop, who's talking to him in the barbershop, which is one of his jobs. And then he also has a nighttime job working at this club, which is what's tying him into this organized crime world. Unlike the other shows on Netflix, this one really introduces the bad guy right away. We have Cottonmouth, who is running things in Harlem, and then we have his cousin, played by Alfred Woodard, who is also a counselor. So we're going to have politics as well. Very similar. She even mentions Fisk at one point, I think, in the story. So, they're kind of building the pieces and the players. We also have an interesting detective, Misty Knight, introduced, who, may turn out to be a love interest or may turn out to be a booty call. I'm not exactly sure yet. But overall, I liked it. I liked what they're kind of setting up. But it was a little bit slow. But I don't know if that was because we had to sort of get him unstuck. In the very beginning, Pop is telling him, you have these powers, you need to get off the bench and think about the future. And Luke is saying, I'm just going day to day. And he seems to, by the end of the episode, he's definitely decided he's going to try to help people. He's not doing it for his own gain. But as we saw with Jessica Jones, sometimes trying to help, and even Daredevil, doesn't always lead to good outcomes for you personally. So I like that. The one thing that wasn't there as prominently as we had in Daredevil, and I guess maybe I was expecting, was a big set piece kind of action scene. I mean, the stuff at the very end was definitely action. I'm going to be curious what you guys think about how they're filming the action in this show, because it's different. A lot of times it's not technical in the way they show the action. It's more, I'll call it cinematic, or almost like watching a music video sometimes. So I'm going to be curious what you guys have to say about that.
I've seen, I think, up to episode 10. So I think I can limit myself to what I was thinking as I was watching episode 1 without any, hopefully, implications of what I know happens later. Watching episode 1, I completely agree with you. my thoughts were, man, this is slow. Oh man, this is building really slow. I mean, I Daredevil season 1, season 2, Jessica Jones, they all got going pretty quick. At least by the halfway through the first episode, you were on a roll. And this one, it was near the end of the episode, and I was like, man, this thing is still slow. At least they got a fight in there, which made the day for me. It kind of saved the episode. You're right. All the actors are doing a great job. I'm reminded about when watching this. Like I said, I watched a big long stretch of them, and then I went down and I sat down as I was making dinner, and I watched a bit of my wife's show. She was watching Blue Bloods, I think, on network TV, which was also doing a scene on the streets of New York with some locals. And I was thinking to myself, man, this is so tame and so boring compared to what they're doing with this show on Netflix. The contrast was just amazing to me. But non-spoilery, you guys, I think it does get better. It gets faster, a lot faster. And it follows a similar kind of structure as the other shows on Netflix. And you may or may not know what I mean by that. So it's worth sticking around, definitely.
Yeah, I think Brent had dropped an email to us here on the crew that he'd seen the first few episodes and just be prepared for a slow start. So, which wasn't a shocker, again, being Netflix there. So I kind of knew that. What I'm kind of waiting for is I definitely got into the Daredevil character fairly quickly and the Jessica Jones character. Luke Cage, I'm not feeling it as much yet, but I'm only one ep in, so I'm not going to be negative other than, give it its time to breathe and just realize it's going to be laid back for a little while. So, I was good with where we're starting. We're setting things up, which is fine, knowing we've got, is it 10 or 13 on this one?
More than 10.
I think it'll be the same. It'll be 13.
Yeah.
13. Okay, so I mean, there's still plenty of, we've got a heck of a lot more episodes since I've only seen the first one. So, no, I was digging it. I'm going to be curious. As you said, as you pointed out, we really only see him use his skills or his powers or whatever. Aside from moving the washing machine, we only see it for like the 5-minute set near the end. So I'm waiting to see more genre kick in here. So I'm fine. I will be watching. Lucifer is definitely higher on my priority list for sure, and maybe Stranger Things. I don't know. I'm gonna have to wait to see.
Okay. Yeah. No. I mean, I definitely didn't get turned off by the series at all. And one of the things I wanted to point out was the opening credits, because I think both Daredevil and Jessica Jones have really interesting opening credits that really establish what the universe is like. So one of the things I really liked about what we learned about Luke Cage in Jessica Jones was, his unbreakable skin. And that was the backdrop of all the credits. Everything's reflected off of his skin. So I thought that was really interesting as far as the opening credits and where that's going. So I'm glad to hear Brent affirming that the pace picks up too. So I think that sounds like some pretty good signs for Luke Cage. Go ahead.
You mentioned the credits, and what struck me about the credits, you're right that they have really good credits for Daredevil and for Jessica Jones. I didn't really like these credits. I mean, they're cool. They're reflected off his skin, but they just didn't seem to have the same zing that I think the others did. The others were just so cool and creative. The whole melting red thing and the Daredevil and the whole purple thing of Jessica Jones. This one was like, meh.
Oh, see, for me, it was like and I guess maybe it's because I'm more familiar with New York City itself. I really liked it.
Gotcha.
But I also recognize a lot of the places that they were showing too. So maybe that's part of it. I don't know. So I would imagine we have some listeners who are probably binging or chunking the way I watch it in big chunks, or maybe you have Kevin's plan to catch it when you can. But we'll be curious to hear what you all think about Luke Cage as well. So please share. And in the meantime, we're going to talk next about Timeless, and Kevin is going to kick us off.
Yes, and before I do, this will be a spoiler-free set of thoughts on just the pilot episode. And also, I just discovered, gang, that there is a chat window built into the YouTube live page. So kudos to Ronnie, one of our regulars. She's there, and she and I have been chatting back and forth. I wasn't aware that
Hi, Ronnie.
that the YouTube page now has some chat in there. So it's, the video there is delayed like 15 or 20 seconds. So sometimes the comments I have to kind of go back a little. But it is there if you folks want to chat, and I'm trying to keep an eye on it now too. So we'll do our best there.
Do I just click on the group chat?
No, that group chat is for hosts. What you do is you open the link that is on YouTube for anybody to view, and then you have to turn off the sound so you don't get yourself echoing. But then you'll be able to see the chat actually that other viewers are seeing.
If you leave the sound on, Brent will kill you.
Yeah.
Okay, I won't do it. Is there anything we need to talk about based on the chat?
No, Ronnie's just saying how much she appreciates seeing all three of us in the studio as we record it.
Cool.
The studio.
Hi, Ronnie.
No, that's me. She
Studio.
said she's at our homes. I call them studios.
My multi-purpose media room.
That's right. We use it for a lot of things, as folks can say by what's behind me, obviously storage too. All right, Timeless 101, the pilot. As we know, we're going to see a lot of these time travel-y shows this fall. And this is the one that kind of caught my attention out of all of them. And just, I don't know, I saw maybe the people who were starring in it or whatever and went, maybe this one will be for me. So this is one I was kind of higher on my anticipation list. And as I think I've said before too, when I was at San Diego Comic-Con, they spent a boatload of money because this thing was everywhere as far as posters and on screens and billboards and everything. So I knew they put some money into there. But I liked, since we're saying non-spoilery, I like that we kind of jump in pretty darn quickly. Our lead characters are kind of caught off guard by what's going on and are kind of thrown into it. So I thought that was kind of okay. Nice way to kind of get things moving fairly quickly. I enjoyed the dynamic between some of our leads. Takes a little getting used to for our programmer / scientist guy, because I remember him and thought he was brilliant on Better Off Ted in a very comedic role. So definitely more serious here. So that takes me a little bit to get used to. But I thought they all kind of worked well together. I don't fully understand what's going on quite yet, which is probably part of the mystery of what the other perceived bad guy is doing as far as dealing with events in the past. But that's okay. I'm kind of along for that ride. And I liked that when I thought I kind of had things down to what they were going to be doing, near the end of the episode, they threw another wrinkle at us. So I thought overall, I really thought this has got some potential, much like Aftermath. I'm not saying it's going to be, going to be high on my show list, but so far they certainly have kept me interested and didn't lose me on the first episode.
Yeah, I thought it was a promising start, a little bumpy in the very beginning with sort of the introduction of the characters, especially the female historian. It was sort of, I'll call it clunky, the way she was sort of explained why she was necessary for the mission, I'll say. But overall, by the end of the pilot, I liked the three leads: the science nerd guy who knows how to drive the time machine, the Delta Force person, and the historian. I don't think that's giving away too much spoilers by naming them. Plus, I think the show will have come out by the time we release the show. To me, and this is a good thing, it has a very Quantum Leap kind of vibe to it as its take into time travel, at least so far. I was very interested in this show because of Goran Viznik, who plays, I don't know if he's going to turn out to be the villain. He's certainly their opponent right now. As you mentioned, Kevin, I don't think we know what's going on. We definitely don't know what's going on. So I'm going to be patient about that. The thing I liked, and this is not giving away spoilers, is this is a show where, what you do has an impact on the timeline and in a big way. So I like that. I'm very intrigued by how they're going to handle all those butterfly effects that are happening.
Yeah, I think that might be a big spoiler. I was going to avoid talking about that because that kind of gives away the way the universe works in this show.
Oh, okay.
I also enjoyed it. I like I said, time travel is my show, my genre. I love it a lot. I did not get a Quantum Leap feel. I got a time tunnel feel from it. Big organizational, sending people through the tunnel, or in this case, sort of thing. Although, obviously there's differences. Let's just put it that way. Yes, the introduction of the crew members or the people who are going to be on the team was a bit rough, and we don't get much on background on some of them, which we probably should. So I would look forward to that in future episodes. But I did enjoy the story and how it played out. I did enjoy some, like you said, some of the twists and turns, Wendy, about the way this universe works and things that do and don't happen, or how things play out. So I'm looking forward to episode. Oh, I've already seen episode 2. I'm looking forward to episode 3.
Yeah, I've already seen episode 2 also, and I'm looking forward to more. But so I do dig the show for sort of having clunky introductions. But to Kevin's point, the story moved along and we got right into it. I also like their time machine. And that's all I'm going to say about that.
Yeah.
I think some people have criticized it, but I kind of like it.
Well, when they explain why they're using this time machine, it makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
I also got a kick out of the fact that one of the characters that we meet has a podcast.
Yes.
So, had to give him points for that.
Absolutely. So this show is from Eric Kripke, who created Supernatural, and Sean Ryan, who did The Shield. So I'm going to be really curious which tone plays out. I'm thinking it's going to go more supernatural. And when I said it reminds me of Quantum Leap, it's in the tone, because even though they have a serious mission, there is humor in this story, and it has that action adventure kind of feel to it that I recall from Quantum Leap, and making it, it kind of unleashes that imagination part of thinking about traveling to different periods in time that I think Quantum Leap did really successfully.
Fair enough.
So do we have time? We have time, right?
Yeah, let's just finish them up. We'll trim if we have to. At least the live audience will get them.
Oh, okay. So I'm the only one that's watching Gotham, but I just wanted to make a mention about season 3 and what's going on. In the most recent episode, we've got some interesting stuff happening. So the girl named Ivy last week got thrown into a vat, and this week she's a young woman and she's turning into the character that people would think of as Poison Ivy. She's sort of turning against humanity and towards empathizing more with plants, which is kind of cool. We also have a different Jim Gordon in season 3. His brush with prison and all the stuff that happened last season is definitely turning him a little more hard-boiled, I would say. He's also decided that maybe he's going to stay away from Lee, although by the end of this episode, Lee has returned to Gotham. So that'll be interesting to see how it plays out, because Jim is seeming to be becoming interested in Valerie Vale, who is the reporter that got introduced in this season as well. We also have, Penguin is really being set up as the prominent bad guy over the season, but we still have the problem of Fish Mooney as well going on. But we also have this other problem of Bruce Wayne trying to uncover the corruption that's going on within Wayne Enterprises. And I was really surprised that they had the character meeting face to face with, I'll call the conspirators, or the head of the conspiracy. And it was really well done that you have this kid, he's 12 or 13-year-old kid, I think, trying to go nose to nose with this woman who is very dangerous, and you see him really struggling with his fear for the threats she's making against his friends, and because of that, he's willing to compromise and make a deal with her, and it's a bad deal that he makes. And then we also have this doppelganger Bruce Wayne kid on the streets who makes his way to Wayne Manor at the end of the episode. So they're setting up some interesting pieces this season. I know you guys don't watch Gotham, but I'd be curious to hear what folks who are watching it think about season 3 so far, especially the tone and where they're taking the Jim Gordon character, because he isn't even on the police force. He's a bounty hunter working with the police in this season as well.
So I wonder if the reporter is any relation to Vicky Vale. The doppelganger, Brent's crazy theory is the doppelganger is going to go into the manor. He's going to murder Bruce Wayne. He's going to become Bruce Wayne, and he will become the Batman.
I think this has been handled in the comics, the storyline, but that would be something else I would be curious to have listeners comment on. And Kevin, you probably don't have any comments about Gotham, right?
Got nothing.
Okay. Then let's move on now to your comments about your Lucifer catch-up.
Yes, just a quick recap. I think last episode I was up through the first 4 episodes. I'm now up through the first 9, and still very much digging it. Things are definitely, as you all who've seen it, are starting to play out a little more. And more is getting discovered by what's going on between with Lucifer very much, and some of the other characters we were introduced to. So I'm very much digging it. I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to happen here. And what have we got? 9, so I got 4 plus the first one. I'm probably going to be close by the second episode airing, if not the third. I'm hoping to be fully caught up.
Cool. I'm glad to hear that you're cleaning your slate on Lucifer so you can move on to Stranger Things. That's great.
I'm glad you're catching up. But we all know, Kevin, the real reason you're catching up and you want to watch the new season is because of a particular woman who was cast to appear in this season. Admit it.
And if the recent trailer or anything to go by, you better hurry up because she's going to be in her underwear, I think, next week.
Okay, note to self: move Lucifer. Watch. Okay. I will admit, when we first announced that casting way back in the summer, aside from Trisha being, a gorgeous woman, I'm like, oh, I can just see her playing that role so much. So I am very much looking forward to seeing her on the show.
Yeah, I think we all are, for sure. Although, she just got introduced. So I wanted to talk really briefly about a catch-up I did on Scream Queens, which I didn't rate this season, the most recent episode, because I did do a little catch-up to see if I was going to get sucked into it or not, and I didn't get sucked into it. But it wasn't because it wasn't good. It was really because I'm like, oh man, I don't have time for this show. and it really is kind of just a fun show for me. This season, they introduced John Stamos, and they have set the story, I think it's 2 or 3 years later, and the Chanels, I'll call them, get pulled into this hospital gig, I'll call it, working for Jamie Lee Curtis, who runs the hospital, and it's somehow affiliated with the university they came from, but I don't remember how. But John Stamos is hilarious as this doctor. I mean, the tongue-in-cheek quotient on this show is so high this season. The hospital's trying to make a name for itself by curing a very challenging patient, and the first patient they get is a young woman who looks like Cousin It. She's entirely covered in hair. And they basically promise to, cure her. Jamie Lee Curtis is like, why didn't we say we were going to cure Zika or something easier than this, right? So it's got some funny stuff in it. It also has, I'll call it the trademark Chanel's stuff going on as well. So I'm not going to watch it. I'm going to store it up on my TiVo, but I'm in no way not encouraging people to watch it. I just know that I'm not going to have enough time, but it definitely, I've watched the first 2 episodes. I didn't see the third one, but it is a lot of fun for sure. So I would recommend it based on those first couple of episodes anyway.
Yeah, I saw the first couple episodes of season 1. And I remember feeling kind of the same way, which is this is a lighthearted show. I could watch this show, but it's just there's no room for it for what I'm doing in the week. So I think I'm totally on board with you.
And I think the three of us are on the exact same page, same way. Saw the first couple, had some good chuckles, and just went, in a perfect world, or one where I hit the lottery, I probably would watch this show. Otherwise, there's just too many other ones higher on the list.
Absolutely, which is a good problem to have. Too many shows to juggle. So if folks think we should change our minds and reprioritize, let us know. I think that this is a good point to wrap up episode 400, though. I want to thank everyone for listening, waving hi to all the folks who are watching us live. Really appreciate that. And would love to hear from you if you have feedback on the shows we are talking about or the shows we aren't talking about. And as always, I want to thank Brent and Kevin for the 400th episode of fun that we've had. We'll see you again soon.
Thanks, folks, for being here. Catch you next time.
Appreciate it very much, folks. And with our extended length here, no last call this week. But appreciate it very much. Have a great week.
Bye.
That's a wrap.
So
Any
Kevin,
questions
do you-
outstanding, Kevin, that we need to answer before we hang up?
Let me look.
Questions on social media that they want to ask before we hang up.
Yeah. Uno momento. Too many windows. Too many windows.
Saving my recording.
Oh, again, just thanks to Ronnie for being our YouTube chatter along with everyone else. No new
Cool.
comments.
Anything cool happen in that YouTube chat? You guys secretly talking about us behind our back?
No, just Ronnie's chatting on all of our topics here, talking about Lucifer and Timeless and
Awesome.
Aftermath.
Is that
and-
recorded? I wonder. Does that stay with
I
the
don't
video?
think it's saved. If you go to the page now, you can still see it. I suspect when we stop the live, it'll go away.
Oh.
Can you
But
paste the link again?
You can get to scifitv.com/live.
Oh,
you there.
okay.
And it's in the top of the Google Doc too, I think, Wendy.
Oh, all right. Hold on.
In the embed one there, if you grab just that YouTube link.
Oh, hold on.
Watch
Oh,
on
there we
YouTube.
are.
Again, you got them muted. or
Oh,
you're
I
gonna
see
get
two of them.
Yeah, mute the speaker and then click watch on YouTube, and you'll see the chat window.
Oh, hold on. I closed everything down too soon. I thought we were done. I gotta reopen my sound control.
Welcome to my world.
But do you see anything there?
I do.
Just Ronnie's chat.
Oh, okay. Hold on.
She's the only one. She and I were chatting.
Okay, hold on. Okay, I'm muting.
Look forward to hearing from you, Ronnie, when you call in.
Yeah, thanks, Ronnie. Appreciate that. That was fun. If I'd known that chat was there earlier, I would have brought it up a heck of a lot sooner.
I'm going to like this stream.
That'll have impact on the creators, I'm sure.
Yeah. It gives us some money. No, we're not monetizing, guys. Don't worry. All right. So when do we hang this this thing up?
I'm just waiting for Wendy to see the chat before I kill it.
Okay. She muted her mic. I don't think that's what we asked her to do, but she thinks that's what we asked her to do. I think.
That's okay.
I did. Isn't that what you told me to do?
No, you had to
Mute the
mute the
speaker on the
YouTube,
YouTube playback.
the YouTube playback, so we didn't pick that up on your mic.
Yeah.
Oh, this part?
No, you muted your microphone again.
No, what am I muting? I don't understand.
Don't worry
When
about it.
you
We're not
play-
hearing anything anyway. So.
Yeah, we're not recording anymore. When you go to
Oh.
the YouTube page and it starts to play, you'll be hearing yourself on a 15-second delay.
Yes. Oh, and you
15
want
or
me to
20
mute
seconds.
that?
Yeah, that's what we were
Yes.
asking, but don't worry about it.
Don't worry, we're not
Oh,
recording
okay.
anymore.
Doesn't matter anymore.
That's okay. Okay.
All right.
I
So I'm
muted
going
it.
to kill the live stream. Thank you, all of you
Thank you.
fine folks, for watching.
Bye, everyone. Thanks.